In the previous video, we just discussed about how we can activate developer option in MS Excel by which we can start coding in VBA. VBA simply stands for Visual Basic for Applications, and we saw the basic interface of VBA in the previous video. We also took a look after that how we can start coding in VBA with the sub procedure and end it with the end procedure. So today in this video, we are going to take a look after cell referencing in MS Excel by using the VBA code. So without wasting any time, let's dive into the video. So let us just revise some of the basic thing that we just discussed in the previous video. First is we just took some raw data and we just saw that how we can record a macro and how we can run that macro to make this raw data into a formatted data. Okay, like we can just highlight the headings by the yellow color and we can just give borders to all the cells in that raw data. Okay, now the next thing we just took a look after that how we can just activate the VBA. We need to go to the developer option and then we need to click on the macros, or you can just simply click on the Visual Basic. If you want to edit a specific macro, you can just click on this macro, and after that you can just select your own macro that you just made. Okay, so right now I'm not having any kind of macro, so let's make one macro here. Let's go to the sheet 1 here and let's start recording one macro. So let me just click on the record macro. Now as you know that we need to give some name to this macro, so let's give some name like my macro, and there is a shortcut key. If you want you can give your own shortcut key, but right now I'm not going to give any kind of shortcut key because in our case there is no need. Next is the store macro in, so we are going to just select this workbook. Then there is this description. Let's give a basic description that this is the macro which will format the following raw data. Okay, so let's click on OK button. The moment I click on OK button, what will happen is it will just start recording the macro. Okay, now the macro is currently recording. To stop the recording, you need to just click on this button, as you can see. Now the next thing, we need to just format the data. Okay, so let's go to the home tab and highlight these three headings. Let's go to the and we are going to just highlight them. Then we are going to apply borders. Okay, so that's it. We are going to do only that much thing. After that, if you want to just stop your recording, you need to just go down and click on this button. After you do that, you will see that the macro is saved in the macros option. Now you can go here and you can just access your macro. Okay, so let me just okay, I will select this macro. I will click on run. It will just run that macro. But right now I am interested in how we can edit this macro. Let's click on edit function. Now after that, you can see here's the VBA. So let me just shut down this code because that does not make any sense. Now next thing that we can do is let's start coding. So here we are having the sub keyword with which our sub procedure is starting, and we are having some comments here with a single quotes. As you all know, you cannot use double quotes whenever you are doing any kind of functioning in VBA. Whenever you are assigning some value to a variable, you cannot use double quotes. You need to use single quotes every time. Means if you want to give any kind of comment. Okay, so in case if you want to give any kind of comment, you can just use single quotes, and if you want to just do something which is related to the coding part, then you need to always use the double quotes because that will throw one error. Okay, now the next thing is how we can just reference to any kind of cell. As we are working on VBA in MS Excel, so there's an obvious thing that the VBA should have some capabilities to handle the cell referencing in MS Excel. Okay, so that's a very obvious thing that it should have some commands with these cells. Okay, so how will it do that? So first of all, just understand a very basic concept, and what's that? Suppose if I select any kind of cell, okay, any cell, you will see one coordinate of that cell is there, like the G column is there, right? There is a G column and there is a 10th row. Okay, so the coordinate of this cell is G10. The first you need to give the column index, then the row index. So this is going to be the coordinate of a particular cell. So G10 is the coordinate of this cell, K7 is the coordinate of this cell. Similarly, E2 is the coordinate of this cell. So I hope I'm clear to you all. Let's move on to the next topic, that how we can just reference, how we can just select this particular cell by using VBA code. Okay, so let's dive into the VBA and let's start coding for doing any kind of cell referencing in MS Excel. Now for doing that task, we are having two, or you can say four methods. First, two methods are there. First is you can just use the active cell. Okay, let me just select that first. Okay, let's say active cell. There is an active cell. Okay, and what do I mean by active cell? So active cell simply means that whichever cell you select in MS Excel, that's referred to as an active cell. Means the cell is currently active. So it's known as an active cell. So suppose if I say here active cell dot value equal to let's say high, okay, and remember to give in double quotes high, okay. So now if I just press enter, what will happen? It will just format it. Now I will just select one cell here, this cell, okay. I will go here and click on the run button. Now you can see that whichever cell I just selected, the value of high is inserted to that cell, okay. So this is the meaning of an active cell dot value equal to high. So means active cell refers to that cell that we just selected in our MS Excel worksheet. This is, let's say, the first method. So with a single quote, just write here method 1. Now you can see method 1 is a comment. So this is a method 1, okay. Now let me just comment this one as well. Let me just comment this one. After that, let's go on to the next method, that's like method 2. So let's go to the method 2 and see what's there. In the method 2, we are having this kind of method, like we will use square brackets. Inside these square brackets, we can just give a range of cells, okay. Give a range of cells. Like suppose you want to just suppose from this cell D1, okay, from the cell A1 to the cell D11. Okay, so suppose if you want to give the value of high from all the cells from A1 to D11, you can do the task by using this method. Okay, you can just simply give square brackets, and inside that you can just give the coordinate of the starting cell and the coordinate of the ending cell. Okay, so suppose if I just want that from the E5, okay, from the E5 up to J14. Okay, E5 to J14. So let me just write here E5, and then we need to give one column with J14. I will just close the brackets. I will say here dot value equal to high. I press enter. Now what will happen if I just run this code? Now you can see that from the cell E5 up to the cell J14, all the cells are having the same value high, as you can see in the code is there. So this is the second method. Now let me just comment this method as well. Now let's go on to the next method, method 3. Now in this method we are having one function cells, okay. So let me write here cells. So there is a function cells, and what will happen? It will just take the row index and the column index. So what do I mean by the the row index? The row index simply means this number like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's the row index, and the column index is the HIJK element. So this is the column index. Okay. So we need to give the row index and the column index to define a particular cell. So suppose if I just say cells in the, let me just give one row index here. So suppose if I just give one row index of, okay, let me just give here. So let's give some values like 2 comma, okay, let me just select this area first, 2 comma 3. So what will happen? The row index is 2, means let's take this one. So 2 comma 3. So it means that from the second row index to the third column index. So means we are referring to this cell. Okay. So what will happen? We are going to change the value of this cell. Let's go here, and everything should work. Okay, everything should work fine. Let's go here and say like dot value equal to high. Double quotes high. After that, let me just save that code. And after I save, okay, so it's saying like you cannot save this free workbook. You need to create one new. You need to give this a different extension. So let me just click on yes. And after that, let me just go to the file tab here and click on this save as. After I click on the save as, click on this PC, click on the desired position, then just go here and save as type. You need to select the macro enabled workbook. After that, click on the save button, and now you can see it's already there. So I will just replace it. Now after that's done, let's go to the VB again, and let me just try to save it now. Now you can see it is saved. So let's run the code to see is it going to work or not. Let's run this. So you can see, as I just told you, that from the second row index to the third column index means C2. C2 is the coordinate, right? C2. So we are changing the value of C2 into high. So this is the way you can use a cell function. So in this, you do not need to give any kind of letter like C, D, E, F, G. You need to give the you can say the index of that. So like the index in computer starts with 0 in fact, but at this point we are discussing with starting of numbers with 1. Okay, so A is the first one, B is second, C is third, and D is fourth, so on. Similarly, here we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's so on. So similarly, you need to just go here in the cell function. You need to just give the coordinates. Let me just give you one more example. Suppose we are having this E and we want to just change the value of E10. Means this cell E10. Okay. As you can see, this is the cell E10. We want to change this value to buy. Not high, it's to buy. Okay. So how we can do that? For doing that, we can just select the E10. So for that, first we need to just take the value of the row index. So let's go here and give 10, means the row index, and now we need to give the column index. You understand, by column it's like the columns and there's the rows. So first we give the row index and then we need to give the column index, that's 5, because E in ABCD alphabets lies in the 5th rank. So let's give 10 comma 5 for doing the task. Now when we write like cells in brackets in double parenthesis, we give 10 comma 5, means from the 10th row index and up to the 5th column index. We are just selecting the particular you can say particular cell with the coordinates E10. So we are saying cells 10 comma 5 dot value to be equal to high. Okay, so after I do that, you can see that if I just save this code and if I click on this run button, you will see that the selected cell value will change into, okay, let me just edit this to buy. Now let me just save this. Now when I click on run button, the particular cell value is going to change to buy. Okay, let me just click on the run button and you can see, boom, there is buy instead of high. Okay, now this is the method number 3. So let's go here and let's select both of these, or you can just give the single quote in starting of both of them. Now let's go here onto the fourth method. So what is the fourth method of cell referencing in VBA by in MS Excel by using the VBA? So the fourth method of cell referencing is to use the range. So what is a range function? If I just write here like range, okay. So what will happen? It will just take some string. What do I mean by string? String is any character, or you can say a group of characters that is containing characters like A, B, C, D, F, G, or 1 2 3 4 5 6 in between the letters and the numbers. Okay, so in fact I want to say that a string is a group of characters, like you can say a group of characters like A B C D 1 2 3 4. That's like a group of characters, that's known as a string. Okay, so in computer science we just refer that thing, means the group of characters to as a string. So let's say in the range function we need to pass some string that will contain what? That will contain the coordinate of that cell. So the range function is going to be super easy for you because I just told you the concept of E5, F6 and G7. Because for using the range you should know about this coordinate system. So in this is the most easiest one. You do not need to use any square brackets, you do not need to use any cells function, and you do not need to count the row index and the column index. Simply you need to write the you can say the coordinate. Okay, so whenever you select any kind of cell you will see the F and 18. So F18, the coordinate very easily in MS Excel. That's the specialty of MS Excel, because when you select any kind of cell you will directly see the coordinates of that cell, like O12. You can see they are highlighted like O12. Okay, so now what I can do, I can just write here a range. Now when I write range, okay, let me just write it again. Wait a while. Okay, let me just go here and say range, and then this we are going to pass the coordinate here. So let's take this coordinate, let's take L5. Okay, let's take the L5 cell and let's go here, let's say L5, and we just give L5, we just close the brackets and we just say here dot value equal to this is L5. Okay, we are going to do like that. After I press enter and click on this run button, you will see that the cell L5 will have the value of this is L5. Let's click on this. Now you can see that the cell L5 is having the value. This is L5. Okay. So I hope I'm clear to you all about these four methods of how you can do cell referencing by using MS Excel VBA. So yeah, that's about how you can just do cell referencing by using any of these methods, but I just prefer that you can use this range because this is the most easiest one. And there is one more thing in the range. Suppose if you want to just select all the cells in between two particular cells, means from the starting index to the ending index, like we just did in the square brackets example, right? So suppose, let me just delete up this much of data, or I can just select any other one, like let's take A14. From the A14, I want that up to 322. Every cell should have a value of, let's say, good morning. Okay. Let's say from the A14 up to the C22 cell, means that will form a square, right? Like A14 to C22. I want that every cell in between should have some value. Okay. So what I can do, I can just go here in the VBA and I can just say here range, and in this I will pass first the starting position. Okay, the starting cell position means from where I want to just select up all the cells in a row. So I will just pass the starting cell. So starting cell position, you know very well, that's like A14. Now after I pass the starting cell position, I will just pass an ending cell position followed by a colon sign. Okay, you need to give a colon sign after the starting position to the ending position. In between you need to give a colon sign. A14 up to the ending position, that's like C22, right? So let's give it C22. Now after that, let me just close it. Means let me just close the brackets by using followed by the double quotes. Now let's say here dot value equal to let's say cells. Let's give the value to be equal to cells. Anything you can give. You can give in a number, you can give in a string, you can give the combination of any kind of expression. So let me just save that, or it will just auto format in some seconds. So if I just save this, it will just auto format. Now after that, let's click on this run button to see is it going to work or not. So if I click on this run button, you will see that all the cells from A14 to C22 will have the value of cells. Let's click on this button. Now you can see that all the cells from A14 to C22 are having the value of cells. So this is the way you can use these four methods are there. Okay, so these are the four methods which you can use. These are the four methods that you can use to just make cell referencing in MS Excel of MS Excel VBA. Okay. So now if I ask you that how you can make cell referencing in MS Excel VBA, this is the correct way of making the cell referencing in MS Excel. You can even use any of them, but I prefer you that you should use the method number 4, that's the range. Okay. So the range method is the most advised one because it's the most easiest one, and you can just select single cell as well and a group of cell as well by using this. So this is about the cell referencing in MS Excel using VBA. So yeah, that's all for this video. Meet you in the next video when we are going to just discuss about how we can use a with block in VBA of MS Excel. So till then, see you.